So folks, we have some breaking news about the fourth stimulus payments. A surprise plus-up stimulus check will be going out before the end of the year. However, you do need to take action to receive this payment if you want to get the stimulus check as soon as possible. Folks, be sure to stay until the end of this video to find out the latest news about the stimulus checks.
Whoa. Sarah, thank you for the introduction. I was saying to Sarah in the back, because when I was Sarah's age, the idea that I'd be standing waiting to introduce a president, no matter who it was, I would find a little daunting. And I was trying to reassure her, but obviously she didn't need any reassurance whatsoever. Zero. And thank you for your service to the United States military. Zero. Thank you. Governor, thanks for the welcome to Minnesota. I was telling the governor on the way, the ride here from the airport, that I started coming to Minnesota back in 1973 because one of my mentors for real, it ended up being two, was Hubert Humphrey. When he helped me campaign in 1972 as a 29-year-old candidate for the United States Senate, my home state of Delaware. And he gave me credibility I'm not sure I deserved, but it helped a great deal. And after I got elected, before I wasn't old enough to be sworn in. I had to wait to be eligible. You have to be 30 years old to be sworn in. Your constituents can elect you at any age, but you can't be sworn in until you're 30. And while I was in Washington making sure that I was hiring my staff, I got a phone call from my fire department saying there'd been an accident, and the poor woman they put on the phone had to say, she just blurted out, "Your wife and daughter are dead, and your kids won't make it." My wife was Christmas shopping and was broadsided by a tractor trailer. My point about it is that one of the first persons to come to me were the Humphreys, not just the senator. And then a guy who became a great friend and mentor was Fritz Mondale as well. So I've been from the Iron Range all the way down to your southern, southeastern border, and it's an incredible state, and they've elected some incredible people, including the people you heard from earlier today, which I'll speak to a little bit in a minute. I see a lot of mayors are here, you know, I told you that's the toughest job in America. They know where you live. But it really is. You affect people's lives more than anybody else directly, and you're right there. So thank you for what you do. And from my administration, I also have the Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, who is with us today. He served in Congress for a long time, and I'm delighted for him being here. Before I get into my remarks in any detail, I was informed after the tour, I learned about a school shooting in Michigan. We learned, as we learned the full details, my heart goes out to the families enduring the unimaginable grief of losing a loved one. Apparently there were somewhere in the order of 9 people shot, and three, I think, are dead. And the young man, I think, as I understand it from staff, is about 15 years old, and he turned himself in, and just said he claimed his right against self-incrimination and handed over his pistol. That's all we know about it, but you've got to know that that whole community has to be just in a state of shock right now. But look, one of the things that I want to mention is I want to tell you about the infrastructure law I signed on Thanksgiving. And it would not be possible, this is not hyperbole, without the Minnesota.
Now the surprise plus-up stimulus checks worth up to $1,400 will be sent out before the end of the year. The surprise plus-up stimulus checks worth up to $1,400 will be sent out by the end of the year. And here's how you can sign up for the payment. Plus-up payments or extra stimulus checks sent out to those who receive a stimulus check. based on their 2019 tax return or information obtained from the Social Security Administration. Now, some taxpayers whose income was lower in 2020 than in 2019 are eligible for the plus-up payments. The same goes for anyone who claimed an elderly or disabled dependent on their taxes in 2020. This includes elder or disabled relatives or college students who are under the care of individuals. The latest round of IRS stimulus checks will come to an end on December 31st, 2021. To claim your plus-up check, you need to file a federal tax return. The payment is sent separately from your 2020 tax return and is sent within 2 weeks of your processed return. About 500,000 of those payments were made via direct deposit, while the rest were sent via checks. And now Congress has a packed agenda, from facing hard deadlines to keep the federal government running to passing President Biden's safety net and climate legislation. So government funding does run out on Friday, and it remains uncertain whether the parties can agree to a year-long appropriations bill in time. But neither side wants a shutdown, so Congress could fall back on another stopgap measure to preserve funding at current levels. What are your thoughts on everybody? What are your thoughts on our politicians in Congress, folks? Are they doing all that it takes to send out the fourth stimulus check? Tell me in the comments below. So the federal government is already functioning at levels agreed to during the former president's administration. Democrats are eager for a new budget, but they need Republican support because legislation is subject to the 60-vote filibuster rule in the Senate. The debt limit was raised last month on a short-term basis, and it was a highly ambitious one. Democrats insisted that it can be done on a bipartisan basis, and Republicans, after weeks of brinksmanship, dropped the filibuster and allowed it to come to a vote. It's not clear whether Democrats will lift the debt ceiling on their own or demand another bipartisan vote this time, but the temperature seems to have cooled since the last fight. And the New York State governor has just announced changes to encourage more food insecure adults and disabled individuals to enroll in the SNAP benefits. The governor says that New York seniors and disabled communities were hit hard by the crisis, and SNAP benefits allowed them to alleviate some stress. But the State Office of Temporary Disability Assistance, which administers the SNAP benefits, was approved to offer a simplified application. This shortened application form can be used for both applying and recertifying for SNAP, easing and simplifying the process for qualified older and disabled adults. But beginning in December, eligible older New Yorkers will be eligible to recertify their benefits for 36 months, 12 months longer than the previous timeline. According to the governor, New York leads the nation in SNAP participation among adults aged 60 and older, but the rate proposed for this lower participation is the length and complexity of the form to apply for SNAP. Thank you again for your support, everybody. If you have any more questions about the fourth stimulus check, be sure to leave them in the comments below.